Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, Head of DevRel at Dremio, with this presentation, Building the Agentic Lakehouse with Dremio, the first data platform built for and managed by AI agents. And the idea here is we just kind of want to solidify a lot of the concepts around what makes the Dremio Agentic Lakehouse experience special. The unified data access, the autonomous performance, the AI native governance, all these sort of really cool things. So let's continue on. Now, at the core, one of the things that Dremio is providing you is a turnkey lakehouse experience. The idea is that essentially you have managed data ops all across, that's automated using AI, all these sorts of things. The idea is that lots of the edges of a data lakehouse you just don't have to think about. You have a self-managing environment. Essentially, you have features that are constantly learning from the query patterns you're having and optimizing the engine and optimizing its acceleration patterns to adapt to sort of the way your queries are coming in. You have autonomous workflows that control sort of how the AI the lakehouse scales. So in this case, you can set up rules that will automatically scale the lakehouse, whether it's creating more engines or replicas of engines, spinning down engines. So that way you always have the infrastructure you need and not the infrastructure you don't. And you have real-time optimization in the sense that you have services that are constantly running sort of in the background, monitoring any iceberg tables that are managed within the Dremio catalog to optimize them. So on top of the acceleration, okay, which is learning from your queries, you have the optimization that is keeping sort of your tables physically optimized. And all of this can just run without you necessarily having to touch many knobs or configure many things. So very minimal touch. It's kind of continuously improving, uh, giving you sort of peak performance versus sort of the traditional route, which oftentimes gives you too many knobs, which requires like a lot of operational, not just overhead on what you have to do, but just cognitive load that distracts you from sort of what was your end goal in the first place. It can be slower, more error prone, and oftentimes result in a lot of types of human bottlenecks as people are trying to figure out, hey, what's the right knob to turn and where do I find the information to help you determine which is the right knob to turn. The idea here is you don't have to think about that. But just having a platform that works is just a starting place. Okay. Once you have a platform that works, that just works, the next step is actually getting value out of that platform. And Dremio brings value to you very quickly with a platform that just works. Really quickly using its built-in AI agent. Right off the bat, you can connect your data to Dremio, and right off the bat, basically your users can begin doing natural language queries on top of that data. Now, of course, if you're just working with a bunch of raw tables, this will be some which have maybe not the most elegant names for columns and things like that. Um, you're going to want to build out what's called a semantic layer and begin, defining views of that data with better column names, with sort of metrics that are pre-computed and pre-designed ahead of time. And Dremio facilitates that too. Dremio has a built-in uh, semantic layer that I'll talk about later on. But right off the bat, once your data is connected, you can already begin asking natural language questions, generating visualizations from those questions um, right there in the Dremio UI. And this can extend external to the Dremio UI using Dremio's MCP server, plugging in any kind of agentic client to that Dremio capability. Great. Okay, so I have a platform that just works. I don't have to think about turning knobs, and I have an easy way to get value out of that platform using the built-in AI agent. But I have this other data that I'd like to use, this other unstructured data, PDFs, images, things like this. And with that, Dremio has AI functions that can help you get the most use out of your unstructured data. Okay, using a function called AI generate, you can go through a folder of PDFs and extract structured data and say, hey, this is the schema that I want to extract. And it'll go through each PDF and extract that data, making data entry much easier. Okay, taking that data from all those maybe hand-filled forms that you have PDFs of and turning them into a table of all those records. You have AI classified that can allow you to do a sentiment analysis, sit there and take, a PDF and say, hey, is this a happy customer or a sad customer? Or AI complete, where you can just take records that are in a table or PDFs and sit there and say, hey, I just want a summary of what this is. Okay, and then create sort of a nice summary that you can then refer to. And all this is possible because you can pass your unstructured PDFs, images to these functions using the list files function. Okay, another function within Dremio that just makes this easier. So again, from the same place, and again, all this is SQL. So that all of this can be done by the AI agent. The AI agent can then write the SQL you need to do these specific things. So again, just giving it, not having a platform that just works, but having a platform that allows you to get value out of it sooner than later. So it's up and running, little headaches, giving you value. But with the list files function, I'm able to sit there and say, hey, these are the files I want to go get, pass them to one of those functions, and leverage AI to take my unstructured data and work with it in a structured way. But as I mentioned earlier, a semantic layer goes a long way. And again, these are the things that are just going to kind of give the AI more context to more accurately find out what the right SQL is, grab the right tables, things like this. And usually you'd have to people would build some machination where they're dynamically grabbing like markdown files from somewhere or having to make some sort of external API call and stitch together all these pieces. And then again, not just for that, but for everything else I've talked about, you end up having to use some other vendor and you create what's called like a Franken platform, where there's all these things stitched together. They break when one updates. It becomes really fragile and requires a large team to sort of really maintain. But with Dremio, all this stuff is in the box. All this stuff is built to work together, and every time anything upgrades, the whole system is upgrading, so they all stay working together. And the semantic layer is part of that. In this case, you can define SQL views, and those SQL views can be views that have better column names. The view itself can have a name that's definitive. Each view and even the raw tables themselves can have a wiki, so that provides even additional documentation and tags. And all this information is used and leveraged by the Dremio query engine and the Dremio AI agent to better understand your data. So you have this ability to curate your semantic layer, and you can even leverage the AI agent to help you figure out, hey, what should I write in the wiki? What are tags that I should be tagging this data set in? So that way you can really build your semantic layer very quickly. And again, with Dremio's help, because again, we're trying to make everything as turnkey as possible with a platform that just works, a platform that allows you to get value out right away, and a platform that will help you continue to expand the value you get out of that with, again, the AI agent helping you come up with wikis, figuring out how to help you build your semantic layer, things like that. And that's overall going to give you better results, but also save you money because you're getting less requests to the AI, less SQL queries to Dremio, because you're getting straight to the point because the AI has a context to kind of get right to the answer in less repetitions and less cycles. And Dremio has that all built in. But one thing is be able to ask questions and get answers, but you want those answers quick, and Dremio's got you there too. So not only is it a stable platform that makes it easy to get value quick and easy to continue developing and expanding that value, but it's going to give you that value fast with very fast queries. Whether it's using all those different autonomous layers I talked about before, such as autonomous reflections, that's where it's like looking and monitoring your query patterns and building acceleration based around that. Results cache, there's different caching layers that are going to cache different things because Dremio can monitor, especially with iceberg tables, when they've been updated or not, and be able to cache results, cache query plans, for object storage data sets like Parquet and Iceberg data sets. There's the columnar cloud cache, which can cache particular objects on the nodes. All these things can help basically reduce the cost of running queries, but also increase the performance. And on top of that, Dremio at its core is super fast because it leverages the Apache Arrow in-memory format, and it's been leveraging it pretty much since the beginning. Okay, I mean, basically this year, the Apache Arrow project turns 11 years old, and this year, Dremio turns 11 years old. They're very, very intertwined in their origins. But yeah, all of this helps Dremio provide you a fast platform. And on top of that, well, great. I have a platform that just works, a platform that allows me to get value right away, a platform that allows me to develop the semantic layer to expand that value, that automates all this performance stuff, so that way it's just fast. But all of that would be for naught if sensitive data was just out in the open where it could get access. So Dremio also brings you enterprise grade governance and security. So Dremio has fine-grained access controls for you to be able to selectively protect things like PII and make sure that the right users don't see, things like emails and social security numbers, and the right users can. Okay, you have lineage to be able to kind of figure out, hey, where is this data coming from? So you guys can help diagnose things better and make sure that who has access to what. You also have universal RBAC, so role-based access control, where you can say, hey, this role of user does or does not have access to a data set, and that's universal, not just within Dremio, but any Iceberg table that's managed within the Dremio catalog connected to some other engine like an Apache Spark, an Apache Flink, a Data Fusion, the same RBAC rules will be honored because of the beauty of the Iceberg REST catalog protocol. So you have this robust ability to govern your data, not just within Dremio, but even external to Dremio when that data gets accessed outside. And on that aspect of accessing outside, Dremio is an open platform. Okay, Dremio is going to can provide you lots of things. Dremio can provide you a catalog. Dremio can provide you managed storage. Dremio can provide you a managed LLM to power that agent. Dremio can offer you engines to run your queries. But Dremio is an open platform, and any of these things you can bring your own. Okay, you don't need the Dremio managed storage. Plug in your preferred storage provider. Okay, you don't need the Dremio managed LLM. You already have let's say a Bedrock account, and you want to use that. Just plug it in and use that. Okay, you want to bring your own Iceberg catalog to the picture. Dremio can connect to any Iceberg catalog like AWS Glue, Unity catalog, Snowflake's Open catalog, any other catalog using the Iceberg REST catalog connector. You can bring your own catalog. Okay, you want to use a different engine? Well, any tables you have in the Dremio Open catalog, which is the built-in Dremio catalog, can plug into other engines via the Iceberg REST catalog. Now, Dremio is going to try to provide you the best experience on all of these tiers, but Dremio does not lock you into any of these tiers. Dremio is an open platform. So it's a platform that just works, that allows you to get value right away, allow you to grow that value, and it doesn't lock you in. So that only really leaves one question left. Why aren't you trying out Dremio yet? You can head over to dremio.com/get started and basically get all this value now for free. Start experiencing it. Experience what it's like to not have to build a Franken platform, to have a platform that has everything kind of already there, nice and put together, that can deliver you results in minutes, not in weeks. And again, allows you to get started for free today. You can experience it today, connect some data sets, ask some questions of the AI agent, play around with developing views in the semantic layer, and see for yourself what the experience is. Okay, start the conversation today about having an agentic Lakehouse experience and experiencing agentic analytics. My name is Alex Merced, head of DevRel here at Dremio. I'll see you all later. Have a great day and enjoy.